despite the celebration, despite the adoration, and I get it, we all want to have positive vibes here. And there were certainly some positive takeaways from my San Francisco 49ers beating the brakes out of Bears football this past Sunday in that Week 14 meeting. There's not a lot of time for looking back on it because coming up relatively soon is a Thursday night matchup. Yes, the 49ers' second Thursday night game of the year. Yes, they already had one this year, but they get a second one this year, pal. As this time, they get to play at home, this time in this Thursday night meeting, against the Los Angeles Rams. It's a rematch from Week 3. We'll touch on that Week 3 meeting. Well, actually, let's touch on it now. This week, that Week 3 meeting saw the 49ers in LA hold a 24-14 lead midway in the fourth quarter, but they choked that away late in the game. The Rams scoring 13 unanswered points, and the Niners having a lot of things go very wrong in that game. We have some things that I really don't want to reflect on because, well, it was just very bad. But the Rams scored 13 unanswered points in that game, including the game-winning, buzzer-beating field goal to beat the Niners 27-24. Again, the Niners completely melting down in that last quarter with a litany of mistakes, bad defensive play, and you can be the judge of whether or not it's gotten worse since then. But here they are now, and they're since then, it's been very mixed to negative. But again, here they are. They're 6-7. They snapped a 3-game losing skid this past week against the Bears, and they're still in the thick of things. They're still in the thick of the NFC West race at 6-7, right behind the Rams, and 2 games behind Seattle. And for as delusional as some, and not many Niners fans are, hey, I'm just being real with you all. Again, they're right in the thick of it, and if they want to be within this race, if they want to catch up with both of these teams, they got to win all their remaining 4 games. And that starts with a key matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. They got to get this one, otherwise it's done for real. I said it was done 3 weeks ago against the Packers, 2 weeks ago against the Bills. If they want to have this one, they want to stay within the race, well, they got to have it here. So this is also an important matchup for the Rams as well. They've been playing some relatively good football as of late. But again, they got to have this one to keep pace with the Seahawks. So let's look back at the week that was for both of these teams. For the Rams, they looked like a big underdog against Josh Allen, the Bills, who are fresh off of winning the AFC East division title on a Sunday night against my 49ers. But the Rams surprisingly shook the NFL this past week, holding multiple double-digit leads on Josh Allen in Buffalo, being up by as many as 17 in the fourth quarter. But they had to survive a late comeback by Josh Allen, the offense. They closed the gap within 3. But yeah, the Rams, they managed to hold off and get the upset victory 44-42. That big quartet of Matthew Stafford, Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua, they went off in that game. They were a big factor as to why they won that game. Sure, it was a shootout in that game, but they had some very big performances. Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua, they were the big benefactors of the scores in that game. So that's something for the Niners to really look out for. Meanwhile, for my San Francisco 49ers, they are facing the heavy pressure of their season completely falling flat on their face. But they answered the call this past Sunday with a total team beatdown on Caleb Williams and the Bears from start to finish. Kyle Shanahan got some very effective performances from Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Isaac Grindo, and Juwan Jennings, and as well as his defense. And credit to Kyle Shanahan to a degree. He coached up a pretty good game plan, but he's going to need more of that if he wants his team to keep his delusional playoff hopes alive. So, yeah, the Niners beat the Bears 38-13. And, yeah, like I said, this is a very key matchup for both of these teams to keep their playoff hopes alive via winning the NFC West. And, yeah, this is a game that both of these teams got to have. But if you're the 49ers, You got to have this one. You don't want to have two. No, sorry, one season sweep already, because you're already down 1-3 in the division. So you can't afford to go down 1-4. Otherwise, it's over if you're the 49ers. Looking at the injury report for both these teams, since it's a relatively short week, there's not really a lot to take note of when it comes to injuries. So starting with the Rams, they're pretty much relatively healthy at this point after enduring injury mania earlier in the season. So they're going in relatively healthy. They could see Tyler Higbee make a season debut, but Sean McVay is playing with caution at the moment. They could be without corner Kobe Durant, though, with a bruised lung they suffered in the Bills game. So keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, for my San Francisco 49ers, linebacker Dre Greenlaw, he could be making his season debut 10 months after tearing his Achilles in the Super Bowl. But I'm not sure how wise that would be. But we'll see. Maybe he'll be on a snap count. But again, at this point, it's 6-7. I'm not sure how wise it'll be, especially if they lose this one. A couple of offensive line notes. Ben Barch heading to IR with the high ankle sprain. He was actually doing relatively well, especially in run blocking, but it's unfortunate that he's not going to be there. While Aaron Banks, clear concussion protocol, so he should be back for this game and starting back in his usual spot at left guard. So, a soul for a soul, I suppose. Isaac Grendo is to be determined with a foot sprain that he suffered in the Bears game. So you'll have to monitor his progress throughout the week. But if he does not play in this game, you're already down 3 running backs with CMC, Jordan Mason, and potentially Isaac Grendo. And you're going to have to turn to Patrick Taylor. So that running game is going to be down even more if you don't have any 3 of them. So it's going to be a passing heavy offense if you're down Grendo as well. And then look for Trent Williams and Nick Bosa. They're going to be day to day going into this game as well. Again, I'm not sure if Nick Bosa will be really playing in this game, but we shall see. So look at the keys to victory for both of these teams with the Rams. Go with what worked best in that game against Buffalo. Feed the stars. Feed that quartet with Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua. I mean, that Bills defense got exposed as a paper-thin defense. I mean, this Niners defense is certainly also paper-thin, especially with that lack of pass rush. You could certainly attack this 49ers defense, even with Travarius Ward, Diamador Lenore, and less than ideal Talanoa Hufanga, who's back in the lineup, and certainly a less than ideal Dre Greenlaw, who's going to be rusty if he's going to be playing this game. So against this 49ers secondary that's been average at best, and again, a rusty Dre Greenlaw, Sean McVay has got a game plan with his quarterback, Matthew Stafford, to spread the wealth around using his stars and follow up a great performance on this past Sunday against Buffalo with potentially another great performance in San Francisco. And then defensively, you gotta have a bounce back performance from your defensive front. Your defense has to have a better performance than it did on Sunday. And I get it. It was expected with how the Bills are offensively. But this is a game where the Bills should really, the Rams should bounce back with that offensive line of the 49ers that's going to be even more beat up than the last time they faced them. Like, this defense has to find a way to really rattle Brock Purdy, especially that duo of Jared Verse and Braden Fisk in the front 4. Yeah, this Rams defense has a great opportunity to bounce back from the Bills game where they were just getting in a shootout to this game where it could come down to, who's better in the trenches. Meanwhile, for my San Francisco 49ers, if they want to have a chance in this game, same thing with the Rams. You got to feed your stars. They did kind of similar like that with the Bears game where from start to finish, they fed George Kittle. They fed Juwan Jennings. Isaac Grendo got the ball on the ground as well. So George Kittle and Juwan Jennings have been playing great all year. Kittle had one of his best games of the year, despite not going into the end zone. But, I mean, he talked about not being targeted in the Bills game. What Kyle Shanahan do? feed George Kittle. And then Deebo Samuel also recently talked about how he's not getting targeted. So maybe you got to feed Deebo Samuel. But even then, when Deebo Samuel's targeted, maybe he's not really doing much with it. So Deebo himself has to rise up to the occasion. He's got to have his best game in forever in a must-win game. I would also like to see Ricky Pearsall. He's got to maybe have his coming out game. So you got to feed the stars, but the stars also have to execute. And then defensively, you got to find a way to slow down this red-hot Rams quartet because they're riding high after riding a major performance against Buffalo. So this 49ers defense that's not having Nick Bosa, that's having a rusty Greenlaw, and it's having also less than ideal Red Warner and a basically one-handed Talanoa Hufanga. Yeah, this Niners defense is going to have its hand full in a big way this Thursday. So, yeah, this game is going to be massive for both the Rams and the Niners, and to a degree, the entire NFC West. This kind of weakish division, yeah, it's going to be a major game where whoever wins this game, whether it's the Niners or the Rams, for the Niners' perspective, you win this game, you're back in it. You're back in the race. But if you lose this game, you get swept by the Rams, your season's basically done. Like there's no coming back. Even if you win out like your last 3 games, like there's no tiebreakers left. Like your season's basically over from here. But you win this game, and then you win the last 3, or even if you slip up against Detroit, I mean, you kind of have a way in. But either way, like this game is big for both teams, so should be an interesting one on Thursday night. For Niners fans out there, they're certainly hoping for a season split on the Rams, but for me, I mean, we'll see. It'll be chaotic. I'll be looking for something this coming Thursday. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your predictions for this game between my San Francisco 49ers and the LA Rams. A big Thursday night matchup and a big one for the NFC West and this division title race. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. And as always, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And until I see you, when I see you in the next one, peace out.